What's up, YouTube? Welcome in, welcome in. It's your girl, Drika Shine here on the Life with Shine podcast, coming to you live. And I wanted to just talk about some of the latest updates and some of the visions I've been getting, and also some of the responses to me actually implementing and executing the idea. All right, so guys, I have this Life with Sean podcast, and I love actually podcasting because it is a beautiful way to express and to actually bring information in real time and to help share your journey, your experiences, also highlight the journey and experiences of other guests as well. And so, podcasting actually has a beautiful range of expression, I would say. And I just love that, right? And so, when I started this podcast, I knew that I was being called to do it. Um, but sometimes you just don't know fully how everything will unfold. Most times when you actually execute an idea and you're actually moving in the path, you get answers as you go. Okay. There is truly no real end goal, so to speak. There's no real destination, especially when you're in the journey of podcasting. Um, However, I do know that for me, I have been open to change, to trying new things, and to also, executing new ideas because it's a new thing, it's a new business, it's a new way to express, and it's also a different kind of journey. It's its own journey, right? And so, for the most part, when you guys see me talk on my podcast, you know, I'm just I'm the host. I'm the one that's facilitating it. So, most times it's just me. Now, very recently, I got the idea, okay, and this was divine. So I just want to make sure you guys note that, you know, is that this was a divine idea. And I didn't just sit on the idea, I actually executed. I actually moved with it. I made it happen, right? So I started to put things in place and then I actually put it out there. And so the idea was to actually host or feature or collaborate and showcase other hairstylists on my podcast. And this feels very authentic and true to me simply because I am also a hairstylist, a hairstylist coach, and I actually, operate and am the bridge between the beauty and the coaching industry. Okay. So that's a little bit background for you guys who may be new to who I am. And so with that, I put out the idea, right? I put out a post and it's been getting some traction, it's been getting some views, and I believe it's just only going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and it's going to grow better and better and better. And so, of course, with anything new, with anything that is fresh, right, there's a lot of things to figure out, right? There's a lot of things that's going to come up. And I'm always a person that's going to face those things head on. And so I feel that it's appropriate to bring this information to my podcast and share the journey and speak about those things that are taking place so that you guys can follow along and actually understand the big picture. Okay. So I put out a post on my Instagram saying, hey, I'm looking to collaborate with other hairstylists um, so that, we can showcase more about who you are as the human behind the chair. Okay. Now, let me express why this idea is very dear to me. Number one, like I've stated, I'm a hairstylist. I've been doing hair since I was 10 years old. I have many accolades and things that we can get into, but I'm not going to in this particular video. Catch it in another one. However, um, one of the things that made this special is because as a hairstylist, we often are overlooked as a human being. Okay, we're often overlooked as a actual person. We are, for some other reason, right, often looked at as people who provide services that help people beautify and, actually enhance their look and their confidence, right? So we provide transformation and images, how people feel about themselves, how they look at themselves, all of those different things. So it's a very, very important role, and I don't take that lightly. However, no one understands a hairstylist like another hairstylist. Okay? Nobody understands the journey, the things that, we experience, the mindset, the inner workings, the things that we have to deal with, whether that's personally or even, with clients or customers, whatever it is, no one can understand another hairstylist better than an actual another hairstylist. Okay. So that's number one. And so when I got this idea, I started to think about my own personal journey as a hairstylist. And when I started to feel like I was being, you know, I guess burned out, experiencing burned out. Now, I will say I built my hairstylist business up before I retired. My first time retiring was in 2021. I built success in my business so much so that it got to a point where I didn't really need to promote as much because I was being booked out just off the, retention clients and people who are repeat or, word of mouth or however many ways people find me. I built up enough of a presence online and offline to where my bookings were continuously coming. Okay. Now, with that, however, the other side of it that most people don't talk about or don't probably realize is that we actually pour so much into our clients. We actually, you know, to be honest, we're like a therapist, right? So there's more than just a hairstylist. We wear many hats for our clients. Not to mention, the customer service. We have the systems that we have to keep up with the bookings. Interacting with new clients that need questions answered and new information, and just overall providing a great experience for our clients, and also making sure that we nail the look that they want and that they leave out of our chair feeling confident, feeling beautiful. I mean, that's the reward in the work, right? But on the other side, I can remember experiencing before I retired for the first time from doing hair. I can remember experiencing burnout. I can remember feeling like I was just losing parts of myself or parts of my creativity that wanted to express, but I fully couldn't by based off the business model that I created at that time. So my choice, my decision, because that was the one that I had or felt like that was what I needed to do, was I decided to tear it all down. Okay, I decided to just let it go. I decided to walk away. I decided to follow my soul. I decided to answer the call that I was getting. because at that point it became unbearable. Even though I was at a point in my career where I was successful, but I still felt like there was more for me. I felt like I hit a certain plateau. And so, because I experienced that, I know that a lot of hairstylists experience that too, especially if you've been in the game 10 plus, 20 plus years, right? If however long, I know if you've been in the game for quite some time, and I know at least over a decade, then at some point you're going to feel like there is more for you. Okay. And most times we make pivots and changes in our business to accommodate for what is needed. And at the time, I decided to step into the coaching realm of business. Okay. Now, I took some hits. I took some bumps and bruises because of that decision. But I'm also grateful because now that I'm coming through on the other side of it, I understand my purpose behind it. It gives me more meaning and why I feel so passionate about working with hairstylists as my clients in the coaching arena, right? To where I want to help and support other hairstylists who have something similar where they're feeling like there's a call for more or something deeper that they don't know quite what that looks like. Now, because I've answered that call and I went ahead, I realized that I'm a role model. I'm an example. I'm a business model. So not only did I go ahead and prepare courses, digital products, materials, information, and now even a platform, right? My podcast, to where my give back is to really reach back and show hairstylists the love that they truly, truly deserve. To hold hairstylists in the ways that I wish I was held as a hairstylist. To be seen in a way that I wish I was seen, and not just off of the influence or the fact that most people were just booking me, right? That clients were booking me, because most times in that scenario, clients are coming to receive a service, right? But now I've created a dynamic for hairstylists to come and receive a service, receive being being seen, being held, being supported, because they too need that. And I've created that from a place of desire, from a place of knowing a hairstylist journey. So when I put out the idea to host and feature hairstylists on my podcast, and it's going to happen, it's happening. Um, Something came up that I feel was a great teachable moment for everyone, which is why I'm sharing it, right? Because number one, I'm in a space in a season right now where I'm just holding everyone accountable, including myself. I hold myself accountable already, but it's to another level where I'm now holding other people accountable. Okay? Because of the nature of my work, because I am not just a light worker, I am also a shadow worker, right? Because I have the ability to understand the psyche and these different mindsets, because Ding dong, duh. I'm a hairstylist. I've walked the journey. I understand the mindsets at every single point and stage. And I've actually transcended and self-actualized a lot of those things to get here. That's number one. To get here, I had to. So because of that, I can easily identify the mindset that I'm working with when I'm having these conversations with the stylists in my DMs, when they're inquiring about my Deepen in Beauty program and getting started with teaching classes, courses, and creating beautiful products, when they're inquiring about being featured on my podcast. The conversations, I can see where they are. And this is why I think this is important for us to have this conversation, because this is the time where I get to call hairstylists to rise higher. Because number one, I understand that as a hairstylist, you've been operating in a certain rhythm. You've been operating in a certain mindset, a certain schedule, a certain way of being, a certain routine, certain habits. And I'm telling you now, in order to get to the next level, it's going to require you to actually change some of those things. Now, whether a hairstylist is ready to at this particular time or not, when they meet me, is what I am being compassionate of, right? At the time a hairstylist interact with me or meet me and we're conversating or engaging about my services and offers, I'm being compassionate for the understanding that as a hairstylist, I know where they are. So with that being said, I've had one particular stylist out of all the many that reached out. But this may even speak to the point of why some of them haven't made the next step yet, right? But I'm not here to kind of, speak on that right now. I'm just here to teach about the moment that I experienced with one particular stylist who I value feedback. Number one, let me say that I value feedback, so it was very, very vital. Now I can bring this feedback to the community and say, hey, I get it. This is where we are. I get it. Okay, so now what? What are we going to do about it? Are you going to move forward, or are you going to let that be the wedge, or are you going to let that stop you? So her point of view and perspective, based off where she is, because we give space for where you are, right? I believe that multiple perspectives can exist. All right. So she was saying how she felt like it was dishonest of me because in the post that she came across that specifically stated, I'm looking to collaborate and work with other hairstylists who would like to be featured on my podcast. And this is summarizing to, DM me for more details. That's straight to the point. That's not me giving you the details in the post. This is me telling you to DM me so you can get the details. Okay? To me, that's straightforward. That's direct, which is probably one of the reasons why the post is successful, is because I was direct. DM me if you want more details. Okay? So every person, I'm sorry, it was to comment the word podcast under the post, and I would DM you more details to get started. That's how it pretty much is worded. So with my way of thinking, just so you guys can see my understanding, my way of thinking, thinking, hey, put the idea out there because that's how I got it. And the way that I received it, I put it out there. And then, comment the word podcast. So now you're showing that you're interested. So now I reach out to you, which I send DMs, and I give you everything up front. I mean, literally, I'm laying it all out. There is no back and forth for real. I put it all out there. Straightforward. And so this particular stylist, she states she felt it was dishonest of me to charge at this point, currently, right now, at the recording of this video, because it's a fresh new idea, $30 for them to be on the podcast or whatever, right? This is what she was saying. She was like, she felt like it was dishonest because I didn't say that it was going to be $30 in the post. But I thought about it. I was like, me understanding and having compassion for her, I was like, okay, well, thanks for your feedback. I understand where you're coming from. But, I stated it in the messaging is up front. So, I mean, I didn't know that was going to be an issue. Okay. Now, after my further processing of this, and I message her and I say, the reason why that fee came into play was because I simply, when I got the idea, now I didn't go in depth in this particular message, but in my stories, I kind of touched on it briefly, which made me bring the conversation here. And just to get to her message and then bring more context to it. Her message, I let her know, I said, hey, that fee is pretty much for the production behind the scenes. The fact that I'm allotting literally an hour and 30 minutes for the interview. So that's my time. Think about that. Okay. An hour and 30 minutes I'm allotting for this interview. And then I'm also going to have to, in the behind the scenes, I'm going to have to upload, which takes time for some of these downloads and, these things to upload into these different platforms. I'm going to have to log in, go into the system, upload, Word things. I'm going to have to put more time and energy and manpower into actually getting this interview on these platforms. Not to mention, it's going to be showcased. I'm going to, speak about it on my own personal social media, my Instagram, my Facebook or whatever, right? Like I'm going to be actually promoting and putting this out there like I'm already doing for myself already. This is why I know on the back end what it really, really takes to make this happen. Now, someone who don't have a podcast, someone who doesn't actually, kind of go through the process of making a video, uploading it, recording it, and bringing it into these other platforms won't understand that. They won't understand that type of work that's involved. And I get that. They don't understand the type of time that's going to go into that. And I get that. And so me having the awareness, like, okay, I'm willing to articulate and communicate, hey, this is just for the time I'm already going to be, scheduling for the interview. And to me, I feel like it's a reasonable investment for the collaboration because this is a paid collaboration. It's paid. Now, typically, and this is where I'm kind of gathering just from, I don't know, the ethers, because nobody's really said this to me, but I'm just kind of gathering this. And maybe this is a typical thing in the podcasting world where, you show up on somebody's podcast and it's free. And I will admit because I have. This is the truth, God honest truth. When I had the idea, the first thoughts did not come to charge anybody to come on my podcast. That was not my first thought. That thought or that idea didn't come until after I got in motion, until after I actually started executing what I was already getting. So again, it goes back to show when you're in the process and in the journey and you're moving, you start getting answers as you go. You start getting information as you go. And I was my spirit led me to charge that rate. That's not something I just pulled out of the sky and out of nowhere. Like I literally am intuitive and I actually got that to do after I've already set everything in place. And I was like, okay, wow. So I'm going to really do this. And then I had to think about the nature of podcasting. So if most people don't charge their guests to come on, then maybe there is the assumption and the expectation that this collaboration wouldn't be a charge. Now, if someone assumed or maybe even expected that something was going to be free of charge, and when they got to the details that you asked for, and you find out that it's not free of charge, and then I must ask you, who is responsible for you having that assumption or expectation? Because that's what I brought to her. I said, well, if that was your assumption or expectation based off the little information you received on the post, then where do you take accountability for what you assume as a you thing and not a me thing? Because I feel like I did what I was supposed to do when I asked you when I asked you to show your interest, and then I DM'd you all the details right up front. So there's nothing misleading or dishonest about that. So I had to look at the fact that, okay, wow, I must be really doing something new in the podcasting world, which I'm going to stand on. Now, let me be real. I'm going to stand on it because that's where I'm at with it. That's what's true for me. That's what makes sense for me. And I must be doing something new. And I'm just like, hey, this is where we're at right here. So I understand that I am not for everybody, and everybody's not for me. I'm not here to work with everyone. I have specific people that God is assigning me to work with and collaborate with and do business with, and I understand that. So if that was God's way for me to place that price point there, just to not only wean out people who are not aligned or who's not ready to invest in themselves, right? But also to show where people are still in a fear or scarcity mindset where they place these wedges in between an opportunity, right? And to me, $30 is a reasonable investment for what we are doing and taking place here. So it's just so many layers that it's just coming out as I'm expressing this. But I just wanted to articulate that I think this is going to change the game in so many ways. In so many ways. More than one. I mean, probably in ways I'm not even thinking of yet, to be honest. I already know that those who actually are willing to collaborate and actually move forward are going to reach success. And this is going to create such a movement throughout the beauty industry and the coaching industry the same, and even podcasting, to the fact where, we get to uh, take control of our platform. We get to decide what our platform means for us and what it becomes, and also holding a standard for our platforms. Because most times, when I see podcasters or hear podcasters, they don't get paid. They're not getting paid unless they, get a certain amount of views, and then they also get what is it, maybe advertising or ads, qualifications or such, right? But to change the game, even in the podcasting world, where we get to say, hey, this is the price, let's work. I think this puts the power back in the podcaster's hand, because what I'm seeing is there's some level of entitlement. To me, that sounds like entitlement, because at the end of the day, this is all a business, guys. And when I look at hairstylists, tripping about $30, just bluntly putting it, like tripping about $30, like, come on, how is it you making that amount of money doing hair? Because I know doing hair is good money. Nobody can tell me otherwise. Now, how you budget and manage your money is another different thing, but doing hair is good money. So you investing in your own advancement in skill level, meaning you get to try something outside of what you normally do. If this is your first time being on a podcast, guess what? You get to get an experience on what that's like. You get to get an experience on sharing more about you as the person behind the chair. You get to get an experience on, building your credibility and your expertise by showing who you are, speaking more about yourself and your business. So look at the benefits of it over the small investment. And then also knowing that, this is going to change the game. Okay. I know this is going to work on so many levels. And I believe that, and this is my prediction, that this is going to change the narrative of how people view podcasts, right? It's going to make it a little bit more exclusive. It's going to make it a little bit more meaningful, right? And purposeful. And not only that, this is a safe space for hairstylists in particular. Imagine how many spaces that you see carved out for hairstylists. But we're gonna create that here, where hairstylists get to actually have a voice, a stage, right? Putting them front and center to be recognized for who they are, good, bad, or indifferent. It don't matter. We want to know about you. And then, also just, knowing that this can be beneficial for the whole, right? Because over time, the exposure, the growth that can happen, not to mention the impact that I have on people I interact with in general. See, I got to put the value where I know the value is. Okay. I don't expect people to value my time if I don't value my time. And I know that this is going to take up my time. This is going to require me to put time into it, which is my energy. And my energy is very valuable. No one can convince me otherwise. Now you may catch on a little late. That's on you, but no one can convince me otherwise. So that's where I'm coming from. That's where I'm coming from. Knowing that this is going to also shift anybody that comes. And my other prediction is that my price will go up. It will increase. It will increase. See, I can see now that I may be one of the first to go down in podcast history that charge her guests to come on her show. Because to me, and the way it's structured and set up at this moment, and I can see it from this view, this is an actual service. This is an actual service. So right now, think of it like this. If a client was booking a one-on-one with me and they was looking to, work through something, whatever that may be, get a strategy, get an answer on something, because I'm her. So $30 don't compare to what I charge for a one-on-one service, coaching service. But this is still allotting that same amount of time for $30. Yeah, my price is gonna go up. It is. That's a prediction. But for now, we gotta start here. We gotta start here. Because I know the impact it's gonna have on my viewers, on my guests. Bottom line. When you come into this space with me, I know the impact and it's gonna have on you, even if you don't know it. It's going to shift your life. It's going to change your narrative. It's going to change everything for you. I can stand on that. So yes, I am charging because I know that this not only helps the stylists to be held accountable to their personal growth and their personal development by making an investment in themselves and in their brand and in their business and and whatever else they can see it as a means of investment, right? But also knowing that there's a lot more that comes with me. And so I just had to get that out there and articulate that because I know that, pretty soon you guys will be seeing other stylists coming on, and it will be a beautiful thing. It's going to be a major thing. It's going to be major success for not just for me, but also my guests, right? It's going to be major success. Everyone's lives are going to be touched. It's going to be a ripple effect. And I believe that we're going to be the number one rated podcast in the century. Like, people are going to be thinking about the fact that this idea that I created and the space I'm creating for hairstylists, the ways you guys get to shape and mold and change the way you view hairstylists and see them in a whole new light. Like, this is going to be a ripple effect, guys. And this is also going to be a beginning of a beautiful relationship. And I just look forward for it to all come together. But I'm grateful for any and all feedback because your girl know how to make lemons into lemonade. So, that was a very, very positive interaction me and that stylist had. So, I thanked her for it. And like I said, this is just a teachable moment for both of us, for me and her personally, but I also want it to be something more widespread and be a teachable moment for anyone else that can find value in this information. So I just look forward to bringing more to the podcast and actually, really growing and Thank you guys for actually supporting me and and my journey and tuning in and stay tuned for more is all I can say. We just getting started. And we ain't even begin yet, but we just getting started. So we ready, you know what I'm saying? And it's gonna take off and I'm grateful. So stay tuned and that's what I got for today, guys. Until our next episode, stay blessed. Be safe. Come on, huh?